All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You know the drill by now. We take stacks and stacks of research books, whatever it may be, and pull out the most interesting stuff just for you guys. And today we are diving into a memoir.
Ooh, memoir.
Yes, a memoir by Melania Trump.
Okay.
We see people in the headlines all the time, but to get their firsthand account is really something else.
Yeah.
And especially someone who went from a small town in Slovenia all the way to the White House.
Yeah. It's quite a journey.
Yeah, talk about a story.
Yeah. And I think what's so fascinating is just how she portrays her childhood.
Yeah.
It wasn't, born with a silver spoon or anything like that. It was really a sense of community resourcefulness. She even talks about how, they didn't have, all the fancy dolls or anything like that. She had to make clothes for her dolls.
Why?
Because, you couldn't just go to the store and buy them.
Make clothes for her doll. That's starting early. I mean, do you think that kind of resourcefulness that she kind of, developed or was forced to develop at that age really set the stage for later in life?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you see that same drive in her modeling career, right?
Yeah.
Leaving Slovenia and navigating a whole new world. I mean, the modeling world is competitive. It takes a lot of resilience.
Yeah, definitely. And that actually makes me think about how she handles public scrutiny. Because in the memoir, she really tries to paint this picture of a woman who has had to adapt and stay true to herself.
Right.
Especially stepping into the role of First Lady.
Yeah.
So did you get a sense of how she saw that transition?
She's very candid about the challenges, the weight of expectations. But I think what really struck me was this focus on finding her own path.
Okay.
Like even with her Be Best initiative,
Yeah.
which, she really wanted to tackle things like cyberbullying, promote child well-being, things she genuinely cared about.
Right. And it's so interesting because even with those good intentions, I feel like that initiative faced a lot of criticism.
It did.
So how does she reflect on kind of those obstacles in the memoir?
She acknowledges them,
Yeah.
but she doesn't dwell on the negativity.
Okay.
She seems much more focused on what she learned from that experience, the impact she hoped to make.
Okay.
It's almost like she's saying, I did what I thought was right and I'm moving forward.
Yeah, it's like that independent streak that we saw in her early life kind of comes back full circle.
Absolutely.
But you can't talk about Melania without talking about Donald Trump.
Right.
I mean, their relationship has been, plastered all over the news, scrutinized.
Oh, yeah.
But in the memoir, she really tries to offer a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that section?
Well, she really emphasizes their personal connection,
Oh.
And I love this one story that she tells about them arguing over bathroom tiles during a renovation.
Oh my gosh.
It sounds so normal.
Yeah.
So relatable. And it just reminds you that, even with all these public pressures, they're a couple dealing with, just everyday life stuff.
It's easy to forget that, isn't it?
Totally.
When you only see the politics.
Exactly. And that's what makes this memoir so intriguing, I think, is that it gives you a glimpse behind the curtain.
Yeah.
It lets you see Melania as a person.
Right. An actual human.
Yeah, it was navigated different worlds, different challenges, and ultimately stayed true to herself.
It really makes you wonder how much our perceptions are shaped by what we see in the headlines, doesn't it?
It does, and I think that's the power of a memoir like this, is that it allows for, a more nuanced perspective,
Yeah.
a deeper understanding of a person who's often been, reduced to sound bites and public appearances.
So after this deep dive into Melania's memoir, what's the biggest takeaway for you?
For me, it's a reminder that everyone has a story, a journey that's shaped who they are, and sometimes, understanding that journey can lead to a more empathetic and informed view of the world.
I think it's a great point to end on. It leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How often do we take the time to truly understand someone else's perspective, especially someone in the public eye?
Yeah.
And how might that change our own views?
That's a great question.
Thanks for joining me for this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.